This is a Rucker Kolls 681A wafer probe station. Just want to let you know you'll get a manual, a copy of this manual here. It has all the instructions on how to operate the machine. It has some schematics in the back. Alright, the power requirements is a 110. So we have a 110 outlet plug coming into here. And what I'll do is I'll just power it up. It will initialize and stop at the front load position here. And then by hitting the home button here, it'll bring us to the center. And back to load. So what I'll do is I have a 5-inch wafer here. As you can see, the chuck has been modified, so it's a larger size chuck here. So what I'm going to do is I'll place the 5-inch wafer on here, just for demonstration purposes. And I'll turn the vacuum on. Just to note, there's a vacuum line here, and I'm just using a small diaphragm pump connected here. There's your power in, your on switch, and then this is for your lighting. You can either be on all the time, off all the time, or auto. It's explained in the manual what the differences are. And one other thing is you do have the IEEE interface, IEEE 488, and then we have our tester interface here. No, it's the other way around. That's the tester, and that's your IEEE 488. That's for running remote mode. What I'll do is I got the wafer loaded up here. It's held under vacuum. I'll just go to the home position. Again, for programming purposes, you'll want to switch your knob here to program. Right now I'm in manual. And what the program mode will do is allow you to program positions on where you want the prober to stop underneath the probe by using the mem key here. And then when you run in local run or remote run, it'll use those locations. One other thing to note here is these are your, you have an English metric setting here, so I have it set to metric right now. And you have your indexes here, you can program them in here. So that's your step in the X and a Y direction. What I'll do is I brought it to the home position. We have a switch over here, index, jog, and align. Normally what you do is once you load the wafer over, you need to align it, so you'll put that to the align position. And what that allows you to do by using these two arrows here is to move back and forth. And at that point, looking into the microscope, you'll want to adjust your theta by using your knob right here. That's your theta adjustment, and you use that while you're aligning it. And then you can always switch back to index, and you'll see that it'll index at your Y index there. And here's our X. We can change that by changing the settings. See, I'll make the X 100 and the Y 100. You'll see that we'll have a smaller step in each direction. That's your Y. And then finally you have a jog position. Now this is when you're trying to exactly line the probe tip to the I/O pad. It'll move very slow, one step at a time. So I'm moving in a Y direction now. It's a little hard to tell, it's a very slight movement. That's the X. One other thing is you do have a contact separate switch. And what that does is, on contact, it's going to drop the, normally there'd be a card holder in here with the probes mounted to it, and it's very hard to see, but it is dropping slightly. I'll just open, separating through the contact. You can see that it rises on separating. It's very slight. And you'll also notice the light will shut off during contact. That's for light sensitive devices. That's because the light setting is set to auto. And for just the height, you would use this micrometer right here. Again, all of this is explained in the manual. Just quickly going over to show you that it's fully functional. So at this point, if you're all lined up, what we can do is just go ahead and do a test. Get your reading, separate, and then go ahead and index over to the next die. So this is manual mode. It's local manual. Let me switch it over to run. Now I had programmed in positions in the program here, just arbitrary position just to show movement of the stage. And at this point what you would do is go back to home again, and then hit the mem start, and it'll move you to your first program location. And so on. I think it stores over 400 positions. Again, that number's in the manual. As you can see, I'm just stepping all the locations. If I take the contact switch, move it to separate, it'll just move to each one quickly. So these are all the program locations in memory. Again, this is arbitrary positions I programmed in just so you can see the full movement of the stage. If you ever want to go back to home, at this point you just hit the home button. It's going to bring right back to the home, your original first position. I did check out some of these remote functionalities, and let me go ahead and put it to remote run. And what I need to do here is I need to jump out, put a jumper between pins 2 and 13 on the tester interface. And what that'll do is give me a signal saying that the test is complete, and we can go ahead and run a simulation of how the machine would operate in remote mode without actually testing. Let me get that jumper set up and we'll come back. Again, I put the jumper in here to simulate that the test is complete, which is a signal that we sent back from the tester. As after the test is done, you can send the test complete signal back. I use the jumper instead to simulate that. I have it in remote run mode. I'm going to hit the home position. I think we're at home already. And what this will do is I'm going to hit the mem, and I'll show you how it's going to start and run automatically. But there it is, going to all the program positions I programmed in there. Arbitrary position. As you can see, I don't have the separate contact switch on, so for the contact. So it's just going to each location just to verify where they are. I can always switch that over here. It's just going to take a little bit longer. As you can see, as it's actually doing the contact and the test, the light goes out. That's the auto mode of the light setting. This is slower this way, so I'll just go ahead and switch it back to separate. Now these are short movements, so you can hear the stepper motor. So again, this is the remote run setting. I also have tested the index, which is explained in the manual. It works fine too. And for the probe, you'll need an edge sensor. Again, that's explained in the manual. Here we just want to show you that the machine is functional. Again, these are arbitrary positions I programmed in and saved in the memory locations. Just a good way to, I lubed up the lead screws and cleaned and lubed the screws. So this is a good way to do a exercise of the stage. Alright, that's about it.